Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Set It Off. It's me, your girl, your favorite host, Simply Sin, and with me, my favorite one and only co-host, oof, Wendy.
What's up, guys? We are back.
Listen, today I'm not giving her favorite introduction. You want to know why? Because she was out there living her best life. Welcome back.
Thank
On
you.
the gram. Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Looking all
living my
cute.
best life.
I see, girl. You live it for us.
Yeah, I was sending it off in Colombia.
Oh shit. That's scary. I was setting it off here, doing my normal routines. Mommy. Actually, I was actually a little bit of free. I was actually a little bit free. My kids were off to Miami. They were enjoying a long weekend vacay, so that was pretty fun for them. I was here with my man and my baby having family time, you know, doing what I do
How was
best.
that? How was
It
that?
was good. It was good. Actually, the baby was well behaved. Despite the fact that Shana wasn't here because he's like glued to her. Um, we had a great time. We had a great weekend. We had date night on Friday date night on Saturday with the baby. Friday we had company over. We played some games. We talked about the podcast. Oh, need to have these men on the show. Let me tell you, Wendy, these guys got no
Intense.
filter. Their mouth is fucking crazy. I can't. I need
They're
to have.
worse than us.
They are crazy. They're super like savage. So it was a good time. Sunday we enjoyed the boat. We went on the boat, boats and hoes, but boats with kids and
With both their holes and some kids.
yeah, some kids. But it was great. We had a good time. So yeah,
That's
pretty
good.
much my weekend went well. No complaints. I was, looking at your pictures and shit, enjoying the
Yep.
views,
Yeah,
with
the views
with
were
your cute
great.
ass outfits and shit.
The
We're gonna have to
views
do
and the
like
balconies,
uh
everything.
we're gonna have to do a what's it called? What's that grown haul thing that they do? Where you just like
The
the pictures of the clothes
oh,
where
the
you,
pictures from TikTok.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
we
outfits. I got this from here. I got this from there.
oh
That's cute.
yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, I
Um,
was actually
so
DM'd the other day, like, oh, where do you shop at? And I'm like, Sheen, Fashion Nova, Discovery. Like, ain't nothing fancy.
I've been telling you that you need to email them and tell them that you need to become a brand ambassador
I
because
really do. I really do. Because let me
like
tell
I'm gonna need you
you,
to start sending me some codes, some discount
yeah.
coupon codes
So
because
if anybody knows, how to do all that, they need to,
girl,
leave a comment with the instructions because the amount of times I wear stuff from them and be promoting the hell out of them or people asking me, and I don't have no shame in the game.
no, you
And
sure
I
don't.
don't like to repeat outfits
The
because
crazy
I'm
thing
bougie.
this is what makes me laugh that when you wear the things, I think they look so cute. So I'm like, oh my God, where'd you get them? Send me the link. Quick. You
Yeah.
quick to send me that link. Yo, here, buy it right now. It's on sale. First of all, everything's always on sale there, right? But it's like when I see it, I'm like, but I would
That's not what you
that's
wear.
not what I would think is gonna look good because when you look at something on it, you're like, oh, it's
Hmm.
cute, but does it really look like this? And then when I
Yeah.
see you wear, it, I'm like, okay, okay, well that's cute. I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I really haven't had that much luck with Shein. I think that's probably why I don't buy as much. But lately, little things that you have sent me that I'll just like purchase. I
Hmm.
guess because you already have it, then I'll know that okay, like, it's gonna fit,
Right.
differently. Yeah, I don't be getting those packages here, man. All I get is Amazon packages.
Oh no.
Amazon comes here. I kid you not, probably
Amazon is good for those last minute things though, because when you're like, oh my God, I
every
need to get
week.
something last minute. You know what I do get from Amazon a lot? Like dresses for like when I've been to like the Chanel skiing says, I got my dress from there.
Oh, okay.
Weddings that I went to, like Amazon is the shit for that.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are. That's not a
But
lie.
I can't go wrong with Shein.
I was looking at some stuff. My daughter's having like homecoming coming up, and I'm like, okay, her theme is like super cute. It's Viva Las Vegas, like a casino theme. So I'm like, girl, Amazon is gonna be the perfect place to get your cute little like touches to add to your outfit because truth be told,
Exactly.
shout out to Amazon, they should give us something for free.
Right. Okay, free promo. Shein, I want it all.
um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was dope. Your outfits were cute.
Thank
You look like
you.
you had fun. I had a great
I
time too.
did.
So I feel like we haven't filmed in a minute. crazy because it really hasn't been a minute, right?
Right. It's literally just been like a week.
A week. I just you know what it is? We were like filming like every single day. Like
Right.
that's what it was.
We really were. We were
So
cramming it in.
yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
we are back.
Glad we're back. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad we're back. So
Hmm.
let me tell you, episode that I've been really thinking about is this one because I've been I think we've had these conversations, right? Like the whole
I
healing
think
after,
we've had this conversation too many times.
yeah, too many times.
And it
I don't think
seems like the
we don't
more
learn
we
from,
have it, the more you still deal with it. You get me? Like,
right, right.
so
Yeah,
it's
I don't
definitely,
think
one of those touchies.
I don't know, Timmy. Well, overall, let's just talk about healing, right? Healing from
Hmm.
relationships, healing from past traumas, healing from a friendship, healing from a family death. You know, healing from everything overall. I've noticed and I've read that it's very important. Now, is it something that I've always know to do? No, because
Right.
you know sometimes like somebody could tell you you need to take time, you need to heal before you sit here and you jump into another relationship because you don't understand how important that is. But let's be honest, how many people actually do that?
No, eso todo su tiempo. We all know right from wrong, you know what I mean? But it's like when you give advice, right? You know what time is it? You just, everything comes when it needs to come.
Yeah, like it's not, sorry, excuse me. It's not something that we know it has to be done.
Right.
We just choose to
But
not. So I came
exactly.
across something that I actually posted on social on our page today, and it caught my attention. It said, healing is so hard because it's a constant battle between your inner child who's scared and just wants safety, your inner teenager who's angry and just wants justice, and your adult self who is tired and just wants peace. Be gentle with yourself. It says, embrace the power of healing and take control of your peace. I know it's one of the most difficult things you can do, but it will be worth it in the end when you value your own worth. You set boundaries that no one can break. Remember, your peace is your greatest competition.
Hmm.
Fucking bars.
Right.
Because that right there, that one last sentence, your peace is your greatest competition because it's like we're constantly fighting that one battle, right? Which is like basically fighting the demon because what is that one thing that I always say that my mom tells us, that my mom tells me, basically tells us because I always tell you. She says, nunca hay felicidad completa,
Yeah. We
right?
say that shit all the time.
Every time. Because you could, again, you could sit here and have toda la felicidad del mundo, piensa tú, but it could be algo tan
Hmm.
mínimo que siempre va a try to ruin,
There's always something.
destroy, break, damage, or something to just not make your happiness fully and complete. So the question is, let's talk about relationship.
Let's go.
How long do you think that you should take to actually work on yourself and heal before you jump into a new relationship? Wait, before you answer that, I'm going to give it to you in three scenarios. So if I've dated somebody, let's say for less than 6 months, what's that time bracket that you give yourself before you jump into the next relationship, right? Or if you dated between 1 to 3 years, was that time bracket that you give yourself before you go to the next relationship, or if you dated from three and above,
Hmm.
3, 5, 7, 6, 8, 10, whatever. How much time do you think that you need before you jump into the next relationship to heal mentally and emotionally, or even physically?
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're 6 months, I think that's nothing, right? Because most of the time you're so on that I'm attracted to you, I like you, nothing that serious, right? So I think that kind of goes away.
That'd be like, patita, pa que te tengo? Corre y vuela.
Right, like exactly. But when you're talking about 3 years plus or 5 years plus, that's hard. That is very hard. So for me, let's see, 10-year relationship, 2 years and a half single, and I still don't think that I'm fully healed on certain things. I'm okay with the situation, you know, I've worked on myself, but do I still have some little things, some triggers? I think when someone is still able to trigger you, that you still haven't healed. When you still allow that person to, they make a comment or whatever it is, still that shit still bother you, you still haven't healed. You should be able the I think the once you know is like when you brush the shit off. That's it. But when the someone still has that effect on you, yeah. But who do you really know how long? You know what I mean? Like how long do you really know how long you need? Like goddamn, how many more years?
Right. Well, your situation is just different
Yeah. Do you
because
think like when you have a kid it's harder? Maybe there was no kids involved, you know?
I think having a kid makes it even harder because
Harder.
you have more of a connection, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a home there that's breaking that you don't want to break.
Right. Then it
Because
comes the guilt of
you're
the
breaking a
guilt
family,
always falls on the person that made the decision.
right?
Mm-hmm.
100%. Um, I don't I don't know. I
That
don't
shit is
have an
hard.
answer for that. You want to know why? Because I took some time. Okay, so this is what I think. I was in a relationship. Let me fix this wording. So I thought that I was in a relationship with somebody for about 4 years, right? Was it 4 years? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
about 4 years. In my mind, again, and I quote, before anybody comes and corrects me, in my mind, I was in a relationship with somebody for about 4 years. Clearly,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't because everybody was looking out in, and I was just getting played like a duck, right? So throughout that relationship, there was problems, there was situations, there was things that caused pain. Because I think this is how I see it. Depend on how strong your relationship was, determines how that healing process goes, right? Because let's say we was in a relationship. Okay, let me give you a better example. I I was in a relationship with my, let's just say my first relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was about I want to say 6 7 years plus, right? And that was the father of my kids. When when that relationship ended due to infidelity and physical abuse, verbal abuse, and all of that came with the relationship, when that ended, I didn't feel the need to take time to heal. I didn't jump into a relationship right away, but it didn't affect me, right? So I think it didn't affect me because I wasn't, maybe I was young. I was
I
21
think
years old when
it's
I
the
started the
young.
relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't think that I was in love. You know,
Right.
being loving somebody and being in love with somebody. Obviously, we know it's a big
Big
difference.
difference.
I think that when that really, yes, did it cause a heartbreak? Of course, because when you're with
Mm-hmm.
somebody and you have kids and you find out stuff and you go through stuff, it's gonna always hurt. But I realized that the healing wasn't as bad because I was able to become friends with that person a year later, And I don't
Right.
mean friends like as in we were like BFFs, but we kind of were for a good transition of time where we had our issues the first year of the breakup, but then afterwards it was like we were okay to co-parent and
Mm-hmm.
hang out and be together and not affect us. So I don't think that the healing there plays so much of a role. Now, my relationship after that, which goes back to what I was saying, because it was so much trauma. in that relationship, so much disappointment, so much embarrassment, so much um he says, she says, so much stuff that happened in that relationship made the healing process harder, because
Mm.
at that time you break up from a relationship that you think in your mind destroyed you, right? Because let's just be honest, when we all break up a relationship, we think the world's gonna end.
The
The
world is ending.
Right. So you think destroy you. So you do two things. You could either go left or you could go right. So depends which way you want to go. You could go left and just, heal, take time to work on yourself, take time to fix all the things that they said were wrong or that you think you did wrong. Or you could just go right and be like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm single again. I'm about
I'm
to
gonna
do
do
the
me.
and I'm gonna do me. And basically, that's what I did, right? So I went
Hmm.
right. So going right, I did everything that I wasn't supposed to do. So I was going out excessively. I was drinking. I was partying. I was hanging out with my girls every weekend because I never wanted to be alone. My house was like the single house because
Right.
everybody slept in my house.
But
Everybody,
that was that on the low. That was your little healing process for me.
right?
Like
But
that was the way you were coping
that
your
was the
healing,
way
but
I
you didn't
was
know.
without even knowing. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm thinking I was doing the right thing because thinking about who? No, I'm good. I'm going out. I'm hanging out. And at that moment, I didn't care to want to meet somebody or be in a relationship because in my mind, I'm
Yeah.
living my
Fuck
best
it.
life. Okay, but that's when I realized that what I was doing was that what you just said. I was trying
Hmm.
to avoid that pain that I really had deep inside,
Yeah.
for whatever pain it was that I was feeling, but I was trying to put a band-aid over it by
Hmm.
just pretending like everything was
Like
okay,
everything was okay.
not really taking time to work on myself and really find out what was going on with me or why was I even behaving the way I was behaving.
Hmm.
Like, let's be honest, I'm an old ass person. I'm not a teenager or in my 20s to be,
Right.
to be acting a fool. So it took me one day to realize, what am I doing? Like, how much longer am I going to continue doing this? Besides the fact that I was fucking wasting money every weekend, but what am I really doing? Like, am I really going to
Hmm.
find somebody like this? I'm not, because I'm going to end up, I'm going to find the same people from the
The
streets that
same
are not
type
gonna
of people.
be the same. It's just not, nobody was in that same, at the end of the day,
And
nobody had that same.
honestly, I think we both could say like we never our intentions never to because I went through that, right? Going
Hmm.
out to places, it was never like we were going because we wanted to find somebody. And
No.
that a lot of times people judge or thinks that like, oh yeah, esas siempre están en la calle o están buscando. No. First of all, we
Salsa.
don't anybody nobody
Usted no
want
vio,
anybody from those places.
pero hold on, amiga. Usted no vio lo que yo posteé el otro día, que me lo posteó mi amiguita Angie. Shout out to her again, because always giving me the little pointers. Usted no vio lo que yo posteé. Que por fin una persona dijo, mire, señores, escuchen, la gente le gusta juzgar a las mujeres que van para la discoteca.
For
No todas
real.
las mujeres que van para la discoteca andan buscando a alguien. No
No,
todas las
también
mujeres
eso.
son pero señores, no todas. Oye, escucha, a veces uno sale para la calle para escuchar su música, para divertirse, para tomar con sus amigas, para estar en cheche y para estar en coro. La gente le gusta juzgar a uno porque ven que uno está en la calle, pero sin
Hmm.
saber qué es lo que uno está pasando por dentro, ¿verdad? Y a
Exactly.
veces la que está en la casa, la que no sale, di que para la
Son las
discoteca,
más
es más
cueros.
bueno que todita,
La que está entrando pila de tigre para su casa.
o no, o se va a ver during a lunch break, quién sabe.
Hmm.
But that's the biggest
But that's how
problem.
it is.
So clearly, I was being judged. I was being talked about, and that didn't stop me because I could never give a fuck about what anybody said.
Yeah,
What
me
stopped
either.
me was that I realized, what am I doing? I'm still hurting myself because at the end of the day, I found myself lonely, and
Hmm.
I realized that nothing was making me feel better.
Right,
So when I decided to go to therapy, and I decided to figure out different, ways to make myself feel better, and I started going to church again. I'm not religious like that. I'm not here to talk about, God or church with anybody. I'm talking about what helped me.
right.
Therapy didn't help me. Counseling didn't help me. I've done that plenty of times. What helped me was when I went and I found a church that I sat there, and when I heard the message, it made me cry. It made
Mm-hmm.
my tears come out. So when my kids look at me and are like, "Mom, are you okay?"
What's going on? Right.
I'm fine. I don't even know why I'm crying. The message was to me. Because they say that God sometimes sends you a message through somebody. I'm like, this is really what I needed. And thank you to Omira. Um, she said you should go to this church. You're gonna like it. And ever since then, I kid you not, I wish I had that church here. I felt
I
so much better. And
know.
I started realizing my mind started changing. Like my mindset started changing about things that I wanted, how I wanted to see life in the future. I started listening to this pastora that I'm in love with on Instagram. Her is a Dominican pastora. Her name is
The
Yesenia.
Dominican lady. Yeah.
I love her. I started listening to her words every morning. You can ask my mom. I played her all the time, even if I just played the same reels over and over, if I didn't put her on YouTube. But it was just helping me and helping me and helping me. And I'm like, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to see life differently. I now decided that I know what I wanted moving forward in the future. And then remember, we will have these conversations where I
Mm-hmm.
would tell even my cousins, I don't want to be 40 and still fucking be looking for a relationship. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be that, like no disrespect to anybody, but that was just me because something was telling me that I was going to be okay and ready to move forward because I was healing. I was letting everything out that I was feeling inside, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment, the hurt, the loss of a child, everything that I went through at that moment. I was finally letting it out, letting it out, letting it out, letting it out. And I was starting to feel so much better. And I was crying all the time, but I was crying where I wasn't feeling depressed. I was
Right.
crying because
It was like
I thought
everything
I
was coming out
to let it out. And this is why I now realize how important it was, or how important it is to heal.
to heal.
Because when I took that time and that break, then I was like, I think I'm ready to, step outside again. I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready to see what's up. I went on one date. I remember I got hooked up on a dating site. A coworker that I used to work with at school, and one of those like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, the guy might look good and everything, but if the conversation is not there and I'm not
Not
interested in
there.
talking to you again, it's just not it. And it's like, oh, you could be well dressed and you could have a great job and a great career and a great profession, but if you're not making me want to talk to you again tomorrow, that's a problem. That means that you're not
Mm-hmm.
there. To me, conversation is so important, because I want to be able to talk to you every day. I want to call you and want to be on the phone with you every day. I want
Right.
to hear your voice. I want to hear your voice and be like, "Oh, this man, he turns me on just by hearing him." Like,
Just by
yeah.
talking about any bull. But when you're sitting on the phone and it's dead air,
You're like,
it's
"So who
like,
talks now? You or me?"
right, like I know I'll be talking, talking, talking. Like, are you not gonna talk? Like, it's a turn off.
It is. It is a turn off. So that's why, and obviously, whatever that happened and it led me to the relationship that I was in now. But my point is that I never understood healing because I have past traumas in my life, right? And I haven't healed from them, but I
Mm-hmm.
healed from one relationship. Do you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
I healed from one relationship that I thought was gonna break me at some point, because if you think about it, it was that relationship, but then there was whatever other package was behind it that just made me like, oh, that's it, I give up. I give up on men, I give up on life, I give up on relationship, I give up on everything because this is ridiculous. Like at this point, how much more pain can a fucking woman go through, But I was able to heal from it. And healing helped me because it brought me to where I needed to be mentally and emotionally. But that doesn't mean that I have healed from everything else in the past. You
You're
understand?
still
I
dealing with
still
it.
have
Mm-hmm.
things that, just like this thing that I read to you says, your inner child in you. I remember the therapist told me one time, this was years ago, I was so young. She was like, until you don't close that inner child that you have inside of you, until you don't close that book and let go all that anger, all that hate, all that disappointment, and pain that you have towards your father, you're never gonna
Mm-hmm.
be able to move on and heal. You're never gonna be able to sit here and be happy within yourself to even to give happiness to somebody else. I didn't know if that was true or not. But I could tell you that healing from a relationship and healing from a family situation or a childhood memory, it's way different. It's
Than
completely
healing
different,
about your dad.
right? Because there's things that I still haven't healed. Like, and just like you said, when you haven't healed, when you still pick a fight about something and it bothers you, when you feel, and to me, I am
Yep.
37 years old and I say it very proudly, right? But very immature in the fact that I'm at my age, at my age, excuse my man in the background, he's real petty like me. At my age, I cannot let go of the things that my dad did to me, that the
And
pain
what
that
do
he.
you think? And what do you think will take? Are you waiting for him to be the one to be like, "I'm sorry"?
um
Because that's
yeah,
something like
I am.
sometimes, but sometimes you got to be the bigger person
I did.
and
I have.
nothing and
And it
nothing.
doesn't take that pain that I have inside. So I give
Yeah,
up, right? Because why? I looked for you. You're my father. I've looked for you. I have taken flights to DR to look for you. I have conversations. I've told you how I felt. But if still to this day I'm still bringing up that I'm hurt by you, then clearly it hasn't gone away. So that
yeah,
pain is still there. So um at this point there's nothing else I could do, because if you as a father still don't realize that the bond that we should be having, because you're older and I'm getting older and I gave you your first grandkids, hasn't gotten any better and changed, then clearly there's a problem. And if
hmm
haven't realized that siendo el hombre, el padre, then tú eres el problema, no soy yo.
hmm
¿Tú me
and
entiendes? Because
unfortunately, yeah.
I've
You
tried,
know how
I've
many
tried.
people are out there like that, like that have trauma, parents situation.
And it's hard because believe it or not, that affects you. And it
Of
affects you even
course.
more. You want to know when it affects you more? When you have your own kids, because now you become that, what I told you the other day, Wendy, the me, I'm not the mom. I can't give my kids perfect um the perfect advice as into how to deal with their father or what to
Right.
say to the father about certain situations, because I respectfully tell my father to go fuck off because I
Yeah,
don't care.
you have that the way you will portray is like you think it's you're every time you deal with anything or your kids, you're already like you put yourself in there like that's me. It's my dad. Fuck that. Da 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 da. You know what I
But
mean?
you see how that's the inner child in you?
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's a chapter that we have, that most of us have to close, and it sucks because there's no reason why we should be going through this at this age. But there's no age for this.
hmm
There's no age for this.
It's so
And let me
crazy how that works, right? Like the fact that you deal with that now, you want to make sure that your kids don't go through it. That shit must be the hardest thing because sometimes you just gotta, you know. And then you have me, for example. I got lucky. I grew up with both my parents, but now my kids don't have that same luck. And as much as I try, I'm like, I'm still the nice one, like, busca a tu papá. Recuérdate mandar un mensaje para el cumpleaños. Like, I'm always on top of that. But at the end of the day, they don't see that. You're always going to be looked at like,
the
or you
bad one.
bitter, or you're the bad one, or you're this, or you're that. And it's like, at the end of the day, all I've ever wanted, like, and I know we both agree, let's just co parent, let's have a good relationship for the kids' sake. I will be the type of person, hey, Thanksgiving, we all hanging out.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But some
We
people
wish that
aren't
could
there.
happen.
You know?
The thing is that, just like you said again, there's sometimes that those people, they haven't healed.
Yeah, they dealing with their own trauma.
They have their own traumas. And if you, man or woman, cannot seem to be in a good space with the other parent, you're the problem. You haven't healed from this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because you're the bitter one.
Right.
Because if I could sit here and want to invite you to a birthday because it's your kid's birthday, if I could
Mm-hmm.
want to sit here and tell you there's a trip coming up or an all-star game or a competition or whatever the case is, come with your girl, come with your
Come,
family, and you can't do that, you're the problem.
you haven't healed that out. Exactly.
You haven't healed. So you could paint this facade that you might want to give the world, but baby,
Right.
we know that that's a lie
Mm-hmm.
because it all comes back to the same thing, to healing.
Right.
So that inner child again is what causes a person, I'll speak for myself, a person like me, to do the dumb things of um not knowing how to give the right advice to my kids, right? Because to me, I have so much anger towards my dad. And mind you, I could sit here and, like it was my dad's birthday the other day, and oh, felicidades, papi, feliz cumpleaños, que lo otro. Pero that's it.
That's
And
it.
it's because I'm trying. Like I'm trying. I'm really trying to just
Mm-hmm.
not be that person. But it's so hard because something always wants to come out. Why? Because I haven't been able to close that chapter. Because to me, a lot of the things that I went through in my life is my dad's fault.
Mm-hmm. You blame him.
Because if
Yeah.
my dad would have been there, or if my dad would have picked up the phone, or if my dad would have even, I don't care if you were long distance, I don't care if you were out the country. If you would have been a father and you would have been like, mi hija, ¿qué es lo que está pasando? Mi hija,
Mm-hmm.
habla, mi hija, cuéntame. Mi hija, porque yo te en otro país no significa que yo no te pueda dar consejos. Mi hija, ven para acá, para mi casa, la puerta está
Right.
abierta. But if you're not doing that, then I'm still angry at you.
Mm-hmm.
You never did that. So I'm still blaming you
For
for the
things.
things that has happened to me. So that's a problem because then I could heal from a breakup, but I still can't heal from that.
Yeah, that's different. That's we're talking about your father, you know. That's
I don't want to say the sperm donor because I think my mom was actually in love with him at one point in her life. I want to say that we're just related because our DNA matches.
yeah. Unfortunately, he gonna realize late,
Yeah,
like,
and
oh,
it
I
might.
should have
I
been
hope it's
there.
not when he's dying because.
And that always is the case, but yeah,
Bueno, pero
it
mira,
is
yo
what
todo
it is.
adiós.
For
Que
real.
Dios te
But
acompañe.
real quick, being that we were touching the subject of bitter baby mama and bitter, we're here, we're fair. We try to be understanding on both sides, but there's some bitter baby daddies, okay? Because
Of
I hear
course.
they're always like, oh, your baby mama bitter, your baby mama this, your baby. No, there are baby daddies that are also bitter, and they be worse than the females. That's all I
Piche.
have to say. Because they
Caso
always want
cerrado.
to make it seem for real. I wish I had a little.
We're gonna buy you that. um,
Because
they
baby,
are,
I ain't be
but
trying to bother nobody.
again, it goes back to what? To them not healing.
The healing.
So men are very prideful. They have like this ego in them where one they don't believe in therapy, right?
For real.
They don't believe in counseling.
I
Half
want to know what men, if there are men actually out there that believe in that, because most of men, they don't believe in that. I mean,
Babe, do you believe in therapy? I want to write it down. Guys, you guys are a witness. My man
well,
said yes.
we have it recorded here.
I will record
I've
and
never been to therapy, so I
he's
never been
here.
to therapy, so I've thought about
I
it.
send you to therapy all the time.
Yeah. Shut up, Miguel.
Yo, I can't deal with him. I always tell you to go to therapy. I
I'll be
think
having
that
therapy session with your girl in the morning.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. Okay, first of all, that's because my patient doesn't really like to listen, but
Right.
eventually she will. I do think that okay, just like
No,
you
it
were
is
saying,
important.
the men don't most men don't like therapy. They don't agree on counseling. Some of them don't even go to church. So how do they heal? Is the
Hmm.
question, right? Drinking, going out, going to play sports, watching some games, having some alone time, but are they really healing? How, like, who are
Right.
they talking to? You know, and then you end up venting to another bitch, and that bitch becomes a bitch you fuck with.
Right, because now that bitch is studying you, right? She studies you. So now she's like, "Oh, okay, this is what he went through." That's all it is. And then here you go, right back, jumping in. Because a lot of times I've noticed that when people get out of relationship, most of the time the guy already has another female or is already talking to somebody.
Right.
Because us women, we're so damn emotional. You know what I mean? Like I've noticed that. Like I see guys like, damn, wasn't you just broken up and you already have another girl?
Mhm.
That should be happening.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think they do need healing. I think men love to talk about how women need to heal before they move on to their next relationship, but so do men.
Hmm.
You need to heal because you need to make sure that you are mentally stable and okay emotionally to
Right.
move on to the next so that you don't fuck up another fucking relationship.
Vice
Because
versa.
it's really easy to always point fingers at the woman, right? Because, women get more of a emotional attachment. Women think with their heart. Men just think with their dick.
Because these hoes ain't loyal.
These hoes ain't loyal. Mm,
Hoes
mm.
ain't loyal.
I swear, he needs just he needs a
He
seat
needs
next
to
to him.
just grab a seat and get a mic.
It's ridiculous.
We'll be
Um,
on here for hours going back and forth.
so I do think that healing from relationships is hard, but it's not as hard as healing from inner child traumas. I think you could seek all the therapy in the world, and sometimes it doesn't help.
¿Cuál es el dicho? ¿Cuál es el dicho in Dominican saying? Un clavo saca otro clavo. Some shit like
So
that.
that they say,
Right.
ready?
Let's
Yo, she
go.
be pushing the buttons, and she loves for me to talk shit. Um, when you don't heal, this is what you do. Real easy. Take notes. Oh my god, hold on.
My bad.
This is having a
You
kid.
can't be as raw and unfiltered as this.
It's like ridiculous at this point. So okay, this is what it is. Write it down. If you don't want to heal, you don't want to go through that healing process. Usted coge un clavo,
Right.
porque ese clavo te va a ayudar a
Exacto.
sacarte el otro clavo.
Oh,
Para que sepa.
Punto.
guess
That's
what?
why so be so easy.
That's
But
it. And
you can't
then
do that with no daddy issues.
just
Where am I gonna get another daddy? A sugar
no, but
daddy?
my man. Okay, so according to my man, I don't need a daddy because he's my daddy.
Oh, okay,
So
daddy.
he's like, why do you have all these daddy issues when you got me? Like,
The
It's
soil
not the
food.
same.
it's not the
It is
same.
not the same.
They don't understand that because
No.
these, all of y'all have your mommies and daddies together. But what do you think? What do you think about you said you two
I'm
and a half years. So what's the
yeah.
ideal time that you think that people should take to in a relationship? And what do you think what would be your advice to me with the healing situation of kids of people that suffer from inner child drama?
Therapy.
No, therapy didn't work for you before. I think that unfortunately, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like not that I'm heartless,
Jumping
but
on a new.
sometimes I'm a little dry.
Mm-hmm.
I say, being that you have kids and you've tried to reach out to your dad, right? And you've tried to have build that relationship
Mm-hmm.
and he's like nonchalant about it
Right.
because he probably is dry. He probably doesn't even know how to give you love because he doesn't even know you. You get me? So for me, I say fuck him. Now I
Right.
got the doggy here.
Fuck. This is why I hate dogs.
The dog ain't gonna get that good.
Right. Talk about fucking life, girl. Um, that little ass dog, yo, just kick her one time.
Sorry for
I
interruption.
I well, you see, but that's been my mentality. So it's been for the past few years. So when my uncle, my first uncle died, because I've had three uncles die. When my first uncle died, he was like a father. That is so disgusting. I'm so sorry. He was like a father to me. Um, he told me right before he was dying, he said, please look for your dad.
Mhm.
Um, Perdónalo. Because a veces nosotros cometemos errores como padres que después no sabemos cómo arreglar,
Right.
¿no? A veces el mismo el ego de uno, no sabe cómo ni pedir perdón. So he was like, busca a tu papá, que eso, el único deseo que yo quiero que tú hagas.
Mhm.
Porque aunque yo pude ser como un padre para ti, ese es tu papá, perdónalo. And that same year that he died in May. September, I flew to DR to surprise my dad for his 60th birthday. And I went, I surprised him. He was super happy. It probably must have been the first birthday I've spent with him since I was a little girl. My dad left
Mhm.
me when I was 7. Diablo, 30
30
years.
years.
And and I
No,
and I
on the street.
I went ahead and I surprised him. I was very emotional to be there. He was super happy, super excited. They had a party, they cut him a cake, and I loved, the fact that I was there for the first time. It's just it's just not it. Like
No.
I tried to talk to him. Um I tried to tell him like, I just want you to recognize me as a daughter. I don't think it's much to ask. I've never asked you like to do anything for me. I've never asked you to give me anything. I've never asked you to do anything. Just be a
Mhm.
father. I just want
Right.
a conversation. Like I want to know that if I am in your country, you care to see me. That if I am here, you care to want to know about me. That's what I'm asking. It can't be that hard. So if to me, if as an adult, as a father, as a man, you can't do that, then why? Why should I continue giving you chances? Why should I try?
Exactly. That's what I said. Fuck him.
Because at the end of the day, you're a grown as man. There's no excuse. I remember one time my father was like, I was like, tú nunca me llamas. Tú no me buscas. ¿Para qué yo te tengo que buscar a ti? And he was like, pero mija, tú sabes que ya yo estoy viejo. No, you're not.
¿Y qué tiene que ver eso?
You're about to be you're like 60 something now. Back then
I
you were
mean,
young.
are you saying your fingers don't work? You can't make a phone call?
I'm like, tú no estás viejo. Porque mi abuela que tiene 80 y pico de años y ahora tiene 90 y pico de años, ella se recordaba
Exactly.
a todos sus hijos y a todos sus nietos y ponernos a todito en oraciones. Entonces dime, ¿cuál es tu excusa? Varón, es que usted no quiere llamar a nadie porque a usted no le importa.
Mhm.
Eso es because como I live in the United States, how these Dominicans say,
Como que
they
tú tienes que estar atrás de él.
right. They think that I'm good. I have it good, and I gotta call you. Why? What's the
Right.
difference between you and I?
It's
Because I'm
easier
the
for you to call.
not even that, Wendy. Yo se lo puesto fácil. Before, I would put money in your phone so that you could call me, and that never worked either. So yo no te tengo que enseñar a ti a ser padre. ¿Por qué?
Right.
Usted es un hombre, usted sabe lo que es ser padre, usted no tuvo padre, usted no tiene más hijos. So, yo no te tengo que enseñar a ser padre. So, si yo tengo que enseñarte a ti a ser padre y yo te tengo que enseñar a ti cómo tener comunicación conmigo, que yo soy tu hija, tu primera hija, pues entonces yo no necesito buscarte a ti. Y yo
Yeah.
prefiero lidiar con el dolor que yo todavía puedo sentir adentro for the rest of my life than have to sit here y darle la boca because for what?
Exactly.
So, Forget that whole healing part of that. Eventually it'll go away one day, eventually it will not.
It
I
will
don't care.
probably never go away.
I do think that I came a long way because let me tell you something. Before growing up, since my dad left, and I cannot remember till what age, but you can ask anybody, my mom, my aunt, I cried every Christmas and New Year's for years of my life. Like I would literally New Year's, 12 o'clock at night, I would literally cry because I always waited for for that phone call, right?
He
And I
left
remember
around
I
that time.
yes. So I used to hate the holidays, right? I never liked the holidays. To me, it was like very depressing because my dad wasn't here and he left and he I was always waiting for him to call. So I will cry on New Year's like, oh my God. And it was just so heartbreaking. I didn't realize as until I got older that I was not just hurting myself, but I was hurting my mom. Why?
Hmm.
Because my mom that has done it
She was
all
there.
for me. I know deep down it had to hurt her to be like,
Right.
she's still crying for her father. Like,
Hmm.
despite everything that I'm doing, or the best mom that I'm trying to be for her, she still feels empty because her father is not here. And I say
Exactly.
that now because as a mom, when I see that something so little that my kid's father do for them excites them, I feel some type of way, right? So I could just imagine if this is me now, I could just imagine how my mom felt back then, you
Hmm.
know? So I went years where I wouldn't even want to put a Christmas tree. I wouldn't want to celebrate the holidays. And I remember my baby father told me, we have kids now. Like, you
Right.
got to get over it.
Exactly. Put that
We
shit
need
to the side.
to put a tree up for the kids and we need to start celebrating the holidays because
Hmm.
we got to do it for them. And I would not do it. I would not even put up a tree. He would do it and he would do the decorations. And I did not care for it. And I remember afterwards, this girl was like, you're going to learn how to love the holidays and you're going to learn how to value the people you have around you now because who cares if your dad is not here? Don't let that ruin you for the rest of your life. He left. Life continues. We would be at the house and we would like always like do stuff together. She started putting Christmas music and get into that Christmas spirit and the kids would love it. And I think that was the first time I started learning how to put a tree up and put decorations. Years later, I want to tell you probably like 15 years later. Look how long it took me to even go through that. So I healed a little bit from that part, but I guess like I don't even think it's more of the healing. I think it's more like of the just the anger, build up
It's the
anger.
anger. Yeah.
But other than that, I'm okay. I think that that healing is different. I do think that healing from a relationship, it might be hard, but it's really not.
It's really
Um,
not.
and you just gotta know how to deal with stuff and how to know how much time to take for yourself. That's all I think it is.
Agreed. Because a lot of times you're still dealing with your healing in a relationship and you're jumping into another relationship. Now you're bringing all that baggage and comparing to the new one. And that's when problem starts, right?
Of
Because
course.
now you're comparing everything like, oh, I remember when I went through this one with this one. That's, I've said it before, how many times? It's so important. And after all my years, I realized it's so important to actually get to know the person before you rush into something because
Yeah.
we all have freaking shit that we're dealing with, shit that we're
uh,
healing from, things that we accepted. Now you're trying to move on and you're like, am I going to accept the same things again? Or how could I maneuver? How could I be different? Because, well, for me, there was a lot of things that I accepted that made me angry, made me bitter because I was holding everything in and I was just trying to portray and have the happy home, the happy family, the kids and all that. But in reality, I was not happy. It
yeah.
was I was faking it
It was
because I have kids, and I want to make things right and I want to make things work. So I've been guilty of, yeah, my past going from one relationship to another. And now I'm like, no, this is my time to get to know myself, really decide, okay, what is it that I want? What is it that I'm willing to accept? What I'm not gonna accept? You know what I
But are
mean?
you?
And um, I think I'm like 70%.
No, I think you are about healed. I want to say you're about 40%.
Yeah, I have my moments.
I know. I live them with you.
Hola,
Yeah, I
las.
have those moments.
Yeah, I think that you have. I think you definitely need to heal. Um, I think that everything comes with time. I tell you all the
Yeah.
time. I think that we have to learn. And yo, my best advice to everybody is it's not just because of the whole healing thing, but when you learn how to take time to even just realize the things that you did wrong in your past, the things that you did too much of in your past, the
Yeah.
things that you should have changed, you should have worked on. And again, it's not always bringing yourself down because
Mhm.
you don't have to do that, but you could do it in a way of teaching yourself right from wrong. Like,
Mhm.
I did this a lot. I know I'm not going to do this again because you know
Right.
what? It didn't help me back then.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
because we want to always put the blame on the other person, right?
you don't. You got to always,
Obviously, yeah, there are things that made you get to that point. So, yes, I do. There are things that I realize I was in that situation because I allowed it or because I made sure I always took control. I
yeah,
never let go of things. It was always like, oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. You know what I mean? And those are things that now I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not doing that. If I gotta go back to being that same person that I was, then I'd rather just be alone.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because like I say, I've always asked for, like, I just want to be in an equal thing. And if I have to sit here and like do everything, and then now I'm upset because I allow so many things and I took control over everything, partially is my fault too. Because I should have put my foot down from the jet, from the jump.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that's when we don't. Sometimes you don't communicate that to the person. You don't let the person know, what do you want, what are you looking for. You kind of just jump into the relation, and at the beginning, everything is fun. You have fun. You're going out and all, and everything is great. Now you're 3 years in. You're 5 years in. Now you're still dealing with what you was dealing in the first 3 years. Now you're dealing it at the 5 years, and then it's just a cycle. And it just keeps
right.
going and going and going
However
and
you
going.
start things is how things end. It's very important to know also like set your boundaries from the beginning of every situation because whatever you allow from jump is just is you can't. It's gonna be hard to try to change afterwards. You
Mhm.
know, that's why I think it's so important to set the cards on the table from the
Mhm.
beginning, from the moment you start talking to
Yep.
somebody, and that's why when you learn how to heal from everything that you're going through,
Mm.
is she okay?
My kids.
When you learn how to heal and accept your own flaws, the things that has happened, the things that went wrong, the things that went right, not the what if or what could have. No, it's just, you know what, I've realized that I need to do this. I realized that I want more of this. I realized that this should be changed. I realized that in order for me to be a better person, I got to work on this for myself. I'm telling you, when I decided to take that time just work on myself, study myself, love myself. I was loving myself as a woman. I was liking how I looked physically. I was loving how I was being carried. I was well taken care of. I didn't need validation from anybody, not even from a man. And that's one of our biggest mistakes in this world as
Mhm.
well. That because we have past traumas and we don't heal correctly, we sit here and we think that we need validation from another man. So because we become so vulnerable, we end up accepting the first attention that comes to us. You
Yeah.
understand? Why? Because we are damaged inside and we are broken. So when we're damaged and broken and we haven't healed, what do? We seek validation from the first person that's going to give it to us. And then that's where we fuck up. Because
Agree.
then we think that we did good. We think that we're doing good. But realistically speaking, we're going back to the same fucking cycle. And we're going to end up fucking ourselves even more. Because then to get out of this situation, guess what? It's going to be another trauma added to the traumas that we already have in our heart.
Yeah.
So taking the time to heal is important. It helps you, and it's true. It is your own competition because now you want to be a better version of yourself. So when you do that, you take your healing, you're working on you. You're not going out. You're not you're not seeking validation from anybody. You're not seeking attention from anybody. You're working on yourself and you're finding that one thing that's making you feel good, right? Everybody's different. I have a homegirl that she the therapy, same thing, didn't help her. But what she started doing, she became a hairstylist, I think it was that she said,
Hmm.
or a facial, I don't remember. But she started going to school for that. So her time, instead of
And
just
mine
being
was on that.
and being drunk all the time like she was because we were obviously all the same, she went to school and she was dedicating herself to learning something new and getting her mind out of that and putting her mind into something else that she discovered she had a passion for, you know. So guess what, she did that. She took her year to herself. She's in a good place now. When she least expected, a person who thought she was never going to be able to have a kid, she got pregnant. She has a baby, and she's good. You know, and I hope that she's good. I hope if she's watching this, she knows that she's, I'm hoping
Hmm.
she's still doing good. So at the end of the day, everybody seeks healing differently. I know I did mine how I thought that was the best, and I think it was because I healed and I prepared myself for the next person that came into my life. And I knew that when I sat down and I started having conversations with him, I was mentally prepared for what's to come. So I already knew that I wasn't going to do the same mistakes I've done before. Because
Right.
again, like you said, is both two people make mistakes, not only one. I can't point the
Hmm.
finger always at one person. It takes both of us to do a lot of fuck up shits or a lot of
Exactly.
actions to cause reactions. So by the time I got to the relationship that I'm in currently, it was like so what's up? What are you looking for? What do you want? Now I'm gonna hear. Now I'm learning how to hear. I'm learning how to listen. No, I always heard. I'm learning how to listen because it's a difference. You
Hmm.
hear voices. The point the question is, are you listening?
Are
So
you
now
listening?
I gotta listen to him and I learned him. And then I said, hey, espérate que este me gustó. Este lo voy a coger pa. Espérese un momentico. Matter of fact, I'm going to take out that paper and pen and I'm going to start writing everything he said he wants. Oh, you want, okay. You nigga, you about to
Like,
be mine. And yeah, it happened because that's exactly how he became mine. So ladies, just know that always study him, learn him, hear everything that he wants, and just take it and do it right
for
back to
real.
you. Feed him that. Listen, you can't just feed him the pussy. You
Open
gotta
that book.
Just give him the pussy. That's it.
when you feed them this, they
What?
when you feed them this right here, you get
Crazy.
what.
What about the cheeks?
So I think that you also will eat same thing. You're gonna get there at the right time when you find that that particular thing that's gonna help you heal and it's gonna help you um bypass everything that you have, inside, then I promise you, you're going to be in such a better place mentally, emotionally, because you could be in a better place right now, but you're not. You understand?
Hmm.
Mentally and emotionally, you're not. We could all sit here and say we are. We could post 30 million pictures of us looking good,
Nah,
but we
yeah,
know,
of course, there's always that trigger.
right? Nobody knows what we're going through inside. So Definitely, definitely think that once you find that one thing that's gonna help you, I promise you, friend, you are gonna be you're I always tell you the same thing, and I feel like I sound like a broken record because I tell you this all the time. You are an amazing woman, right? You are um a great friend, and you know what you bring to the table, right? And we've had this conversation prior to this. So I think that once you find the help that you need to help you let go of build up anger, um traumas, um all that frustration, disappointment, once you let all of that out and you actually start opening your heart to heal, because right now this is what happens. There's a band-aid.
Mm-hmm.
That band-aid is just covering everything that that we feel. When that band-aid opens and everything just comes out,
Mm-hmm.
damn, I just thought about some artwork that I would love to do right now. Look at me. Bro, talk about I have to have ADHD, I swear to God. There's no lie. What in the world just happened? I just
Now
was
you
like,
just thought about a whole tattoo?
I thought about no, a tattoo. I thought about an art that I'm gonna do. Oh my god, this is so cool! I can't wait to talk to you about it tomorrow. Hold on, I have like a whole vision in my head. So anyhow, once that band-aid gets taken away and everything comes out and you start healing and you start that healing process, and you're gonna feel so good, friend, that when the next person comes into your life, or to anybody's life, I'm gonna speak in general, to anybody's life out there, it's like you're gonna know that it's your time to live happy, to feel like this is where you belong, to have a different energy, your
Mm-hmm.
mind, your body. Like I remember moving here to Atlanta, I was so scared. I was so scared. I was so scared. I was so scared. You guys saw that on my first episode of relocation. I was so scared. And it's like sometimes I just sit here and like I breathe and I'm like, this is where I belong. I
Yeah,
never
like
knew
I'm glad.
that. What a thought. And I'm like, this is where I belong. And I am so happy. Like I am genuinely happy, and I never thought that that was gonna happen
Yeah.
because I went through so much. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? I've been through so much heartbreak, so much abuse, so much pain, so much
Yeah.
pain. So many people cheated on me, and it's like you start to blame yourself for everything, right?
Right.
Like what the hell? What am I
Like, what
doing
did I
wrong?
do? Mm-hmm.
What am I doing wrong? I have a smart mouth. I understand. I am a bitch sometimes. I understand. But what am I really doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? And then that's when you start
Mm-hmm.
doing all the wrong things that you're doing and you fall into these depressions and then you get rebellious and then you do this and then but when you heal from all of that, you feel so much better. And I could genuinely give this advice to everyone. Find that one thing that can help you heal. It might not be therapy for you, it might not be counseling, it might not be church, I don't know. It could probably be even just talking to somebody.
It could be you writing in a journal.
It could be because you know what, once you find it, I promise you, you're gonna feel so much better um emotionally. You're gonna
Yeah,
feel so
I
much better.
definitely think like when you're writing things down, like for me, because I know that my mouth is slick, right? And I know that was one of the things that, obviously can cause issues. So it got to the point where, you know how you get hot at that moment, I'll just like get my notes on my
Yeah,
phone and I'll just not send a text, but I'll just write everything I thought, everything I was feeling there and
do
kind of
that.
just let it out. And if you go to the history that I have, like, and you think back and you're like, God damn, and this month and this year I was feeling this way, and then another month I was feeling this way. But that was my way of releasing it, but not triggering or fighting or starting an argument. I would just write it there. And now that I look back, I look at it now and I'm just like, damn, you know,
But even that sucks because look,
it does.
the fact that you have to sit here and write everything down because you are afraid of being able to express how you
Express.
feel and be
It's like
expressive about
when you express certain things to a certain person and they're just
closed minded.
right, or they walk away. Like that's what triggers you, and you're like, it starts to argument, starts to fight. It's like You can't sit down and have a normal conversation and
because you
communicate.
know, people don't know how to take accountability
Yep.
for the things that they do,
Yeah.
and that's
Accountability
probably
is very important.
accountability is super important. And not a lot of people know that word. If you don't know what that means, please do me a favor and Google it and
For
define
real.
it,
For
because
real.
Huh.
when you don't know how to take accountability, this is what you do with what you just said. It's easier for them to walk away,
Hmm.
ignore, find a way to even push it back to you, become victims, to make you feel some type of way, and then you start closing yourself in this bubble where you're like, now you don't even want to express yourself anymore because now you're scared. Why you're scared?
Hmm.
Because you feel like if you start saying stuff, then you're the one triggering.
Right.
So it shouldn't be like that. Um i do i do recommend that, though, that everybody does, just like we're saying. I think that's like probably gonna be the best advice I could give anyone
For
from
real.
my experience. Is it
Don't
it
rush.
it turns out for the best. There's always a happy place at the end.
Right.
Always.
Take your
There's always
time.
the end. Take your time. Let it happen when it has to happen naturally. Stop forcing things that are things that are done forcefully don't ever work out. They don't last. They
Hmm.
just, todo lo que comienza mal termina mal. Siempre lo he dicho. Todo, todo, todo. Oye, todo. Así como tú comienzas una relación, así mismo se
That's
termina.
exactly how you lose it.
So
Ain't that the truth?
that's my advice to everybody. What's your advice?
My advice is it's okay to be single. It's okay to be alone. Obviously, throughout the process, you meet people, right? And you have fun and all that. But take the actually time to work on yourself. You
Yeah,
get me? Whether it maybe it only takes you 6 months, a year, 2 years. Some people start liking that. Some people like the fact, like, shit, I don't got to answer to nobody.
come in and out. What?
Right. Just do what I want, go here, don't. So that part is interesting too. But yeah, definitely take the time and really don't always put the blame on the other person. Analyze your
Take
stuff
accountability.
too. Take accountability. Right.
I
A
agree.
hundred percent. So,
It's crazy, right? Like, healing is so important. You don't realize that until you actually speak about it. You speak about it,
and you
and
actually lived it. Yeah.
it, um, even we didn't even discuss, but obviously in another time. But healing, even from healing from friendships, is also hard. There's times that a friendship could do something to you that could hurt you, could stab you in the back, could cause you pain, and you think you're okay, but you really not. So how do you even heal
Mm-hmm.
from that? Because you gotta heal from that. A
Right.
friendship sometimes is like well, friendship not sometimes, but a friendship is a relationship. Obviously you have some friendships that are not as strong as a bond, as you have with others. But even those
Right.
type of friendships cause healing
Exactly. Sometimes
because
you don't even know why things happen with certain people. Like there's the saying, right? There's a reasons why people come into your life. There's seasons, and then there's a lifetime.
seasons, and they all feed a purpose in your life. So, for anybody out there that needs healing, take it, do it, find it, look for it. It's important. It helps you a lot. It takes you into a better place, and just like she said, it's okay to go through everything that you're going through at the moment. Just
Mm-hmm.
remember that everything at the end has feeds a purpose. Everything has a
Mm-hmm.
happy ending. Everything, I promise you. There is no, this is not it. Don't ever
Mm-hmm.
stay stuck to think that this is it. And my own personal advice is pray about it. You don't have to be a strong believer in church. You don't have to go sit down in the church every weekend. Just pray about it. Have a conversation with God, because you know what? He is gonna send you that message, whether it is in a way that you least gonna expect it, or even if it's just gonna deliver you the message through somebody. It could be through a friend. It
Yeah.
could be through a post. It could be through however it is. You ever been scrolling and you're like,
We need
yeah,
this.
person was talking to me for because damn, this shit came straight to me. How did they know I was going
Hmm.
through this?
So it's that phone, man.
So sometimes I be seeing everything as signs. I'm so big on thinking, on believing that everything
I am
happens
big
for.
on science too.
Oh my god! Like I'm such a high believer that everything happens to a reason. You know, me and my mom were talking about this yesterday. This weekend we were like, oh my God, 2022 we met. 2023 I got pregnant. 2023 we got our house. 2023 I moved to Georgia. 2023, like what the hell? Like everything just happened when you
Hmm.
least expect it. And the numbers, it doesn't make sense. And it's like you start thinking about these things. I'm like, bro, the signs, like just everything happens for a reason. So I personally could say that I'm very happy that I took my time to heal, to be in a better place. Um, I'm still healing from postpartum. So that has taken some time. But even that, I feel like little by little, I'm getting so much better.
Hmm.
I'm feeling so much better. I'm even learning how to embrace my body and love my body. I felt like I was having body dysphoria. I still think I am, not as bad, but I was at the beginning where I wasn't liking how I look because I don't look how I used to look a year ago, you know?
Hmm.
And I get it, you just gave birth and this and that is bullshit. I didn't want to hear that. I don't care to hear that. Why? Because it's not just the weight that bothers me. It's just how I even look. This is my first child out of my three that gave me a C-section scar for the rest of my
Hmm.
life. Just the healing of all of that alone has been hard for me. I still walk around talking about my pictures, still brag about my pictures to my man, still wish that I look how I used to look before. But I'm learning how to love myself like this. I'm learning how to love my
Yes,
mom.
amiga.
I'm learning how to still look at myself and still feel sexy, and
Hmm.
that's all part of healing. And it also comes from the great company. My man tells me 20 million thousand times how good I look. Doesn't matter that I feel some type of way. Babe, you look good to me. Like I'm the only one that you should care about, my kids tell me, make me feel good about myself. So that also plays a big role, because if you are in a good place also where you have great people giving you the right energy, the right love, that helps your healing
The
process.
energy,
Yeah.
yes.
And my friend doesn't need none of that healing from y'all because she got me. And I help all the time. Even though she's still not there 100%, but guess what? I give her all the compliments that she
I'm all
needs and
right.
this healing process. Boo.
I think I'm better than what I was months
You
ago.
are. You are. And
Definitely.
I'm proud of you. You're gonna get there. It takes time, friend.
I
I
have
just
my
really want
moments.
I really just want you to get there because I just think that maybe you're gonna move here.
I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know who you think gonna move me over there.
We're gonna find someone.
No, ella quisiera. Ella quisiera.
Oh my god. All right, all right. Well, guys, I hope you got enough of this. I hope you learned something from this. I hope
Yes.
you share with somebody because this is very important. Thank you so much, baby girl, for being here and sharing this with us.
Thank you.
This
Thank you for sharing and opening up. I know that was touchy.
those are touchy subjects, but they help when you release them. Also, that is
Hmm.
very important part of healing too. Always talking and taking it all out from the inside. All that
Hmm.
always helps. So, if you ever want to speak to anybody and you need help, please feel free to contact one of us. We are always here to help anybody that wants to talk. Sometimes it's better to talk to an outsider and a stranger than to talk to your own family member or somebody
For
close to
fun. Yeah.
or your boyfriend or your mom or whatever. So feel free to talk to us. We're here to help. You can always DM us. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Set It Off Podcast, Set It dot off podcast, because I always get it wrong. Remember to go ahead and follow, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Um, Make sure you share this. Make sure you like it. Make sure you talk about it with everybody else. Let them know that your two favorite crazy girls are on a mic once again. And this is all for tonight. We'll catch you guys in the next episode of Set It Off, baby.
Bye.
Bye, guys.